alive. Break the chains and rise. No more feeling powerless. No more shame. Take your power. Break out of the pain. Because it's more than fornication, more than procreation. It's not just self-stimulation. Sex energy is co-creation and transformation into a new destination. This is Porn Talk. Porn Talk. Porn Talk. Break free. This is Porn Talk. This is Porn Talk Live. Here is your host, Eric Zuzak.
Welcome to Porn Talk. This is Powerful Eric. This show is not just about breaking addictions. It is about breaking belief systems. And this is a special Halloween episode. It's going to be edited and put out around Halloween. So today we are diving into the world of spiritual healing with an incredible guest. Are you haunted by porn addiction? We have an expert who knows how to conquer those inner demons. With a background in sales and a journey from trauma to triumph, she's now a clairvoyant medium and intuitive healer. Join us as we explore how she helps others break free from their struggles and embrace a bewitching transformation. Without any further ado, let's welcome Jessica King to the show. Welcome, Jessica.
Hey.
What is a clairvoyant?
Clairvoyants are people that can see and speak with the spirit realm. So I communicate with the spirit realm, departed loved ones, angels, and spirit guides to help people with messages that they may not be able to hear. And they might see signs or get little, nudges in life, but they're maybe struggling in different ways that they don't know why they were dealing with certain things. And so I'm here to kind of give them that, I guess, bridging the gap is a good way to put that.
But Jessica, I was told that that's from the devil. That the psychic stuff, it's all from the devil. It's Satan. Satan is working through you. You're doing the devil's work.
Yep.
What about that? What do you say to people that say that?
I'm raised in the South, so you can't tell me much that I haven't heard. So that you of course do hear a lot of that, especially in the Bible Belt. But I say that I wasn't made this way, and I wasn't like born with demons attached to me. This was something I was born with. It was not something that I have worked to develop. It was just something I've known my entire life. So I don't think that the divine God, higher power, whatever you choose to believe, makes mistakes. And I'm just here to be a messenger and to be, I guess, a humbled conduit is kind of one of the ways that I like to put it.
Cool. A friend of mine, he is a Catholic priest and he is psychic.
Yeah.
But he doesn't call it that. He says he has the gift of discernment.
That's right. Yep.
So those that are, you could say that Jessica has the gift of discernment. Because then if it's the gift is discernment, then that's okay.
Yeah. There's a bunch of, and it's interesting because I read a book that was actually by a pastor, and it was on the 7 gifts of the Spirit. And it was actually, but it's all the same stuff. It's just different words. I mean, so
yes.
I'm like, so they say they believe it if you use the right terms, I guess, if you use the right word salad to make it make sense.
Yes. So I know you have, your family there's a lot of addiction there and some challenges, and also I know you have a cool story when you were young, like you said, like you didn't ask for this. Is just, well, it's a gift of the spirit. So,
Yep.
you want to expand on well, maybe that story first with when you were a youngster and you learned that you had some skills that other.
Yeah. So I used to just ever since, I mean, and I always say it's as early as I can remember that I saw things and had things come around that other people didn't see, and it wasn't one of those things that it was once or twice. It was pretty consistently that I would see spirits that no one else could see, and the specific one that was the most common was actually an Indian chief. So when he would do rounds between our bedroom doors, and my parents just said that I had an overactive imagination, and here we are, almost 50 years later, we're getting close to, and I've still got that overactive imagination. So apparently, I guess it stuck, but it was that was when it all started, and I started having dreams that ended up being prophecies for later in my life. I mean, I've had all types of things that came to me from a very, very young age. That obviously, again, from the South, so it was something that was kind of pushed down for what I was actually receiving for a long time. So I actually just ran from a lot of this stuff because I thought it was the devil, and I was going to burn in hell. So
I understand. Sounds spooky. Sorry, I had to do that.
look.
Well, so tell me about the addiction part. So you have this skill, and then your family has some challenges with addictions, like I'd say probably a lot of families do.
Mm-hmm.
I've got addiction on both sides of my family.
Yes, both sides of ours also, and so addiction has ran deep in our family, and like you said, it's on both sides of our family. So there was lots of them that have dealt with drug addictions and all types of different things that they battled that of course they always sought additional help for. I mean, and I guess I had where I would start to dabble and stuff, but I never had the struggle where if I was done, I was done. So, I mean, I guess I'm not going to say that I'm like a choir, in the church choir up here and was innocent to all that stuff. But I mean, I never dealt with it at the level that, like my sister did. So, and hers was a much stronger hold that she dealt with. And so it went on for many years and many treatments facilities before, she was able to be clean and free for where she is in her life now. I mean, we're looking at, I think, about 10 years of being clean. So
great.
Yeah.
How can someone use these gifts of the spirit to help them to overcome a porn addiction, a sex addiction, a alcoholism, drugs? Like, how can your craft help someone with those things?
I think it's a little, so there's a couple of layers, I guess, that I would say to it. Is that one, I think that, or not, I think I have been shown that a lot of times that we are sent here with certain lessons to be taught and learned that we come to this lifetime to be actually to work through. And so I think that being able to understand what that lesson was so that the person can either learn that lesson and move past it, or understand what it is that they've been told to kind of, I guess, be guided past. I mean, so what I started recognizing, though, was a trend that when I was having sessions with clients, a lot of times it was, for the departed loved ones or for whatever it was that they needed help with, is that there was a lot of, I guess, similar traits with not all of my clients, but with a lot of them where there were struggles that they were going through, whether it be shopping addiction, whether it be, a drug addiction, alcohol, but there were all these different things that they were struggling with. And so I started to work on understanding why it originated and what needed to be resolved within them. So I don't have to do like a therapist does, where I have to ask you to pull all your baggage out. I will be able to see your baggage already, so I can actually kind of pinpoint where things have become the issue and whether it was in this lifetime or a past, if you believe in that type of stuff. But it's I've seen too much.
Past lives. Past lives, that's from the devil.
Yeah, that too.
Can't speak of that. That's from the devil.
Yeah. So, but there is so much of it that we have that carries with our soul. And I think that people carry these things as generational curses and as soul contracts and soul ties and karmic debts and things like that they experience and they struggle with. So they don't know. It's not like the hot pan in the kitchen that you know how to throw down.
Yeah.
You know,
I understand that we, of course, have free will.
yes.
But I also understand from the extensive amount of spiritual work that I've done that we do have a destiny, but it's however we choose to get there. You know, we choose this destiny. It's like Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
What is your destiny?
Yeah. Absolutely. And so, I mean, there's that component of it, but then there is also, I have also seen people that have got spiritual attachments that, oddly enough, or not oddly enough, I guess, is that they get spirits that are attached to them that.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go. Here we go.
Yep. that are addicted to either. They were addicted to sex, they were addicted to porn, they were addicted to drugs, they were something that they were addicted to in their lifetime. And instead of choosing to die and pass on and cross over to the light, they decided to stay here, and they enjoyed that addiction so heavily that they would manifest into a human body to actually be able to still maintain that energy in this in their bodies, that, you know, so they can, and those people will actually get addiction so deeply and so strong at that point that it's compulsory, and they don't know that they can control it or stop it. Yeah. So I mean, that's why there's, I guess, layers to those, and understanding how to be able to remove spirits that are attached to them, you know, and break the bond of the spirit that's decided to inhabit or and take up their space, or also to go back in and say, sometimes it's people that have continued to, I guess, choose to cause, or to, I guess, put the words in my mouth here, getting them to actually want to break the addiction. They have to have that strong enough desire to say, hey, I'm ready to step away from this, and I'm ready for you to take whatever it is off of me. Not just in a verbal sense, they have to feel it and desire it, and they're like in their soul.
Yeah. A spiritual advisor, mentor of mine, awesome lady, she's deceased now. She said this several times. She said, if you could see what is there on the astral plane in a bar, you would never go in, because there are things waiting to attach to you so they can go along for the ride.
Yeah.
And sometimes they stay on.
They do. They do, especially if they find a really, I guess, a willing vessel that doesn't really fight the situation. I mean, so if they've got somebody that's not trying to break free from, you know, that place that they're at, whether they want to continue on with the addictions and whatever else, they'll stay right there and happy as can be. I mean, so, and a lot of times those spirits that are have battled those addictions, they don't want to cross over. I mean, they were completely content with what it was that they'd established in this lifetime.
Yeah.
So.
I have a story that I've not said publicly yet. I'm waiting till next year. I believe is when I'm going to tell the story. But in a nutshell, a long time ago, when I was very deeply into my addiction, I was also, let's just say, playing with some paranormal stuff. And let's just say playing with paranormal stuff and a porn addiction at the same time is not a good idea. I know. I found out the hard way. I found out the very, very hard way.
Yeah. Yeah. That is definitely playing with fire. It's kind of like the people that decide that they're going to be drunk and play with the Ouija board. Not always. So, you know, at that point, you have not only said that you're, you know, opening yourself up to spirits and want to have communication, but you're also doing it in in an induced state that's making you an easier target, you might as well just put a welcome sign right over your head and tell them to come on in.
Yeah, my spiritual advisor, mentor, she said on our chakras, there's a webbing over them, like kind of like a protective webbing. And she says when you do drugs or alcohol or stuff like that, that it kind of like puts holes or makes openings in these creatures gladly take advantage.
Yeah, and I will say that there is a balance too. If we're talking about like a drink or so socially or something like that, that's a different story. But if we're talking about like way into the induced states of different mental states, then yeah, you're absolutely. It's going to create what we call auric tears, which your aura is the energy that a lot of people have heard like of auras. That this is the energy that is around your body. And you can create tears or holes into that when we do things that are not, within alignment for our highest good and for our health. So, and people sometimes get so they don't realize what they're doing when they create those tears or holes. And obviously, it's not like a hole in the pavement or something outside. We're not going to put some spackle over it and it's going to be okay.
Need some spiritual spackle, please.
Yeah. Aisle 13, spiritual speckle. Yeah. Yeah. So that, is going to cause people to not understand the struggles. And I've seen such an interesting thing where a lot of times where I will see people that have got these attachments that their eyes are being covered up. They're maybe even got spirits with their fingers like jammed in their throats. There is things that are being done to them that if they actually knew what was being done to them, they would probably be much more horrified than what they would be if they just continued to hang on to that sucker. So it can sometimes motivate people to move on, especially with some of the stuff that I've seen and drawn for people. I'm like, yeah, let's let it go.
Yeah. Let me flip to the other side here on things to watch out for. So you are a legit clairvoyant.
Yeah.
But in this field, there are some people that aren't so good. What would you say, like if somebody's listening to this and like, oh, I want to, talk to somebody like that, and or yourself, but of course, but like what are some things to watch out for? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I call. So I always tell people first and foremost to never anybody that messages you directly, like through social media, because this has become a huge, issue with people that are. They'll either comment on one of your posts and they've or they may have seen something on one of your things, and then they'll give you some like random I call it like it's a buckshot approach where it's literally enough. It's it could literally fit anybody, of a descriptor, and then they will start to message you and say that that they can help you with whatever this may be. And a lot of times you'll think that they're just trying to actually help with whatever this situation is. If they're spiritually spamming you, that's what I'm going to call it. Then that's a no-go. It's a no-fly zone. So don't deal with someone that's going in that direction, because they are not someone that I would ever want to reach out to. Those are going to be your biggest ones that I would say watch out for. I always also say to look at their reviews, as simple as that may be. If they don't have online reviews or at least some sort of an online presence, make sure to kind of look at their reviews and that they show, that they do good quality work. They've got, and and make sure that it's over a span of time. If you see a bunch of stuff that's like popped up and it's like all of a sudden, then be cautious of those too, because obviously AI or whatever can, you can create all kinds of stuff. But those are the ones that I think are the bottom feeders of the industry when you look at that. And then if you ever feel uncomfortable, just don't do it, because that is not something you want to open yourself up to someone that's going to give you a reading or try to connect with the spirit realm. and you're trying to open your heart up to receiving those messages, and it's not the right person. I always tell people, I'm like, look, go and watch, either podcasts that I've been on, go and watch, videos that I've posted. I've done live readings for people. I was like, go and check them out. If you, and I think that that's a big thing, that if you can, because they've got to mesh with your energy. And I know that mine's a little abrupt and abrasive. I'm not for everybody, but just find those ways that you can kind of check into them and learn more about them before you just jump over into the ocean with them.
We don't want any spiritual spam. No spiritual spam. Here's one. Here's a tip for sure. If anyone says, you have a curse on you and I will remove it for $1,000. Well, there you go. So.
Yeah. That's the curses. I mean, and not saying that those can't be legitimate situations, but again, that's generally those people that are reaching out to you and saying, and you never even actually approach them, but they're going to have, again, enough broad information that it will make you feel like it's towards you. And also there seems to be there's been a major uptick in like those, duped pages. Like I've even had them done with my page where they've taken my content. And so make sure that you do your back end research and make sure that who's communicating with you is legitimately the person. I mean, it's just, if they're asking for money through, obscure means, Cash App, weird stuff like that, then just no. I mean, just like I guess with any business, I mean, go through a legitimate website where you can actually know that you're doing a secure transaction and you're dealing with someone that's got some sort of ethics to themselves.
Yeah. So let's get back to the subject of porn.
Yeah.
Porn, addiction.
Yeah.
And the spiritual realm. What are some practical things that someone could do if they have one of those addictions or drugs, alcohol, or all the above? What is something they could do spiritually to make themselves better?
I am a huge component or a advocate for the, not a component, but an advocate for people that use mantras. So finding mantras that you can maybe tap into that resonate with your spirit, that can bring you peace or calm I feel like is a really powerful tool, especially when our subconscious mind a lot of times will outrun the shit out of our conscious mind. And I mean, if you were talking about race, I mean, the subconscious is going to run it to death. And so you have to realize that you've got so much energy going under that subconscious that's something you need to use caution with. So trying to retrain your mind to the right message for yourself is going to be one of the best ways, I think, to start out with those things. I think also if you've got something that this is starting to affect in your life that you hold very dearly. So I don't care if it's your family, your car, your dog, your dear Aunt, Mildred, whoever it may be. Find something that I would say is like a talisman that makes you think of them, that you can maybe keep with you. So, I mean, if it's dear Aunt Mildred and there was a bracelet that makes you think of her, wear it. So that when maybe you start to kind of think about those things, it trips that trigger in your mind of trying to bring you back to where you need to go. If you start having anxieties from whatever your addiction is, that might also be a good way for you to kind of, I guess, remind you that, that this is the path that you're actually choosing. You don't want to be on this path and you want to go this way. It's another phenomenal way to do it. I'm a huge advocate also of binaural beats. They're fantastic for releasing negative energy. It's, and raising your energetic vibration, which is, I think is vastly important when you're struggling with addiction, because addiction lowers your vibration or your energy.
Yes, it sure does. That.
So when we're low in our vibration, we're open up to the lower realm and the darker aspects of the spirit realm. So the binaural beats are energy frequencies that actually can help you with anxiety, that can help you with negative energies and things like that. So using those around you to kind of keep the frequency of energy around you is a great way to do that. And more than anything, I'm going to encourage you to rip the mask off. because there's got to be someone in your world that knows. You cannot keep it in shame, because the longer that you keep it to yourself, that is actually lowering your vibration also. And it's going to keep you stuck right where you are. So the shame and all that other stuff, it goes back to that low vibration entities and energies that stay around you, and they want to keep you stuck right where you're at.
Boy, you unpacked a whole bunch there. You gave a lot. You're talking about raising your vibration with the binaural beats. You talked about mantras. You talked about, you said two more things. I forgot what they were.
We talked about telling someone ripping off the mask.
Ripping off
Rip off the mask.
mask.
Yeah, rip
Oh,
off
and you
the
also
mask.
said the talisman. A talisman will
Yeah.
draw the positive to you, where the amulet is a shield of protection.
Yep. It can be. But look, I want you to understand that just because the talisman is there, if you waver, don't beat yourself up, and know that, I mean, that people deal with addiction and battle addictions, all day, every day, and sometimes for their lifetime. But the fastest and the strongest hold that you'll ever have to keep you there is your silence.
Can you expand on that?
It's your silence until you choose to just step out and say, I'm dealing with addiction. I'm fighting addiction. I mean, and whether you find a place in an AA, NA, a sex addiction, shopping addiction, whatever your addiction is, finding a group of support people that you can have that hold you accountable and can help you to say, hey, I need someone to support me through this. Yeah. And there's not going to be a judgment there about where you are.
Absolutely. If I always say, people ask, well, how do you know if you have a porn addiction, or how do you know if you're addicted to porn? Well, if you have to ask the question, then there you go. Yeah. And as far as what you were talking about with mantras, in my program, I have guys come up with their own mantra. My mantra is every day, in every hour, God is transforming my pain into power. Every day and every hour, God is transforming my pain into power. And so I have them come up with their own, or use that one or a variation thereof. And so
I've channeled mantras for people from either their spirit guides or from the spirit realm to give them a specified mantra for themselves. I encourage that if you come up with the mantra of your own, to stick it everywhere. And I mean, literally, I have it on your bathroom mirror, have it on your door, have it on your car. I mean, put it everywhere. And if you're really battling, set a reminder, an alarm on your phone that goes off every so often that literally just shoots that mantra across your phone, so that then there is no escaping you getting the positive message into your life like you need to. And so that you're constantly seeing it. And that's when you start to really rewire that subconscious message to yourself and to the universe.
Yeah. And you also mentioned having a talisman. Talismans bring positive things to us. And, that could be something for somebody that, could be a crucifix, a cross, a stone, something that's, please.
It can be limitless. I mean, honestly, your talisman can be anything. I have used talisman that I've had on jewelry, and it doesn't even have to be like this. Like like when I was purchasing a house, that I had I had something that had a little talisman of a house on it that was reminding me what my goal and what I was working towards to accomplish it. So, but those things, having those things that nobody else may understand what it is and what it means to you, that can really honestly be at your fingertips, is super powerful, because it's almost like your little secret with the universe. That you can kind of touch during one of those moments of anxiety where maybe you can't leave a meeting at the office, or you're in a meeting with one of your kids' teacher or whatever, and you start to feel overcome because maybe stress or anxiety has started laying on you. Have that on you, that you can touch it, and it does some form of, something to bring you peace and kind of reminds you that all's good.
All is good. All is in divine order.
Yep.
you also talked removing the mask.
Yeah.
That is the biggest one of all. Removing the mask. And ironically, like, so, my story with Powerful Eric, I went to all these programs. They say you're powerless over this. You're powerless. It didn't work. So now I'm Powerful Eric. And really, like, that is my true essence, like who I really am. And all the other stuff is just, I was covered in this muck and this dirt and this
Yeah.
grime. And so that is everyone's true nature is that gold. Like we got God don't make no junk, and we have gold on the inside, right?
We do. We're all here with a purpose, and we're all here with something that's meant to bring, that bring goodness or something to help, I guess, impact this world. No matter how small you may think it is, or how big you think that is, the fact is that when we start putting on these masks for the different roles that we play, and from the different experiences that trauma that we experience, what we're doing is that we put these on and we're saying, I'm gonna put this on for now to deal with, my family member that died. I'm gonna put this on now to deal with my my breaking divorce and my marriage going into shambles. I'm gonna put, so all these things that we put on because we think that the world expects us to be a certain way. And I think that has become so much more amplified as social media has, risen, and all the different platforms and everything else like that. Everybody keeps seeing all this perfection and they think that this person can't have a shit life. They can, and they more than likely do have different moments that are really sucky for them.
Yeah.
And so quit lying to yourself, and quit allowing a deviant spirit to lie to you too, and make you think that that everybody else's world is rainbows and sunshine, because I can guarantee you it's probably got some really bad rain days and possibly their own struggles that they just don't want to share out into the world.
Yeah. Social media, comparing yourself on social media is toxic. Comparison is the death of happiness.
It is.
There's always somebody that's going to be better, stronger, faster, prettier, more handsome. Like, there's comparison, the death of happiness.
Yeah, it is very much so. And I think that the rate of how social media and our world in general moves, and it's what I've kind of considered it, I guess, the microwave society. And so everybody looks for these instantaneous, feelings and emotions or whatever it is. They look for that instant gratification in life. And so it makes it so much easier to numb that by seeking into addictions or other things that people might be, using to escape their reality.
We numb, cope, and escape. And often days it's now digital escapism. There's always a screen, a phone, a tablet, a computer, a TV.
Yeah.
Escapism.
Yeah.
What can someone do to escape the matrix as far as spiritual wise? What would you say? There's someone that's listening right now, this very moment, and they're really struggling with some type of addiction, either porn or alcohol, whatever. And they're listening to you and they're like, yeah, that's awesome. That's all great. But maybe they're just, feeling really down and out
and defeated,
bad about themselves. What would you say to that person?
It's okay to struggle. I want you to know that. I want you to know it's okay to struggle. I want you to know it's okay to fail. We have all struggled. We have all failed at some area of our life, but it's not okay to stay there. So all I'm going to encourage you is that you find one thing in your day that you can maybe change to make you better than you were yesterday. Because that's the goal here is that for us to be better than we were the day before. And so if it can only be you were able to maybe reduce something by 5 minutes and not be who that person was that you were yesterday by 5 minutes, start there. Start there, because by you starting somewhere, you're taking your power back, and you deserve to be able to have your life in control, and you deserve to be able to call your power back to you and be able to take ownership and be able to live your life with your loved ones out of shame. And there is no level of addiction that is too deep that you can't come out of. Trust me, I promise. I have seen some of the worst. I have lost plenty to it. But so many of those were because they chose to sit in silence. And even when hands were reached out, they chose to feel like that's what they were deserving of being at. And you're not deserving of being at that place. You are meant for so much more.
Beautiful. Well, very well said. Well, Jess, we are getting towards the end of our time here. You've got a lot of wisdom, experience, and what if someone is resonating with you right now and they want to reach out with you, maybe have a reading or you do other, healing, those type of things. How would a person do that?
You can find my website is clairvoyantjess.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Well, pretty much you can find me online. So if you search Clairvoyant Jess, you generally will find me. Feel free to follow my social media pages. I will do some different random free events and things like that. And my number one service is trauma healing. So that is honestly, it has actually taken the majority of my time now because of the fact that it has become such a needed component for our society. And so I work very diligently to help people to break free from a life of pain and suffering so that they can actually truly step forth in the power that they deserve.
That's awesome, because trauma healing, I know from the work that I do, that is definitely absolutely needed. So I really applaud you for the work that you do. So if you'd like to reach out to Jess, go to clairvoyantjess.com, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here. This was fun, and I will close with this quote. You are what you are and where you are because of what has gone into your mind. But you can change what you are, and you can change where you are by changing what goes into this beautiful mind.
I like it.
Are you struggling with porn or sex addiction? Then apply for a free strategy call with Eric today at powerfuleric.com.